Imagine walking home on a quiet Friday night, the same road you've taken your entire life. Streetlights flickering above you, your phone in your pocket, music in your ears. You're just minutes away from home, and then suddenly you're gone. No sound, no witness, no trace. Her name was Emily Carter, 19, bright, full of life, and in less than 90 seconds, she vanished off the face of the earth. What happened on that dark stretch of Maplewood Road that night? Was someone watching her, waiting? Because what police discovered next would turn this small town into a nightmare that still hasn't ended. It was supposed to be an ordinary Friday night, a small town, quiet streets, and a girl full of dreams. But by sunrise, she was gone. No calls, no messages, no trace, just silence. Her name was Emily Carter, 19 years old, a college sophomore studying psychology at a small university in Oregon. She was known for her warm smile, her obsession with mystery novels, and her habit of taking long evening walks to clear her mind. Everyone in town knew her. Everyone loved her. That Friday evening, Emily had gone out with a few friends to a local diner just outside town. They laughed, took pictures, and talked about their weekend plans. Around 10:15 p.m., she told her friends she was heading home. The walk from the diner to her apartment was less than 15 minutes. She never made it. Her roommate, Megan, remembers that night vividly. She was waiting for Emily to return because they had planned to watch a movie together. By 11 p.m., Megan texted her, "You home yet?" No reply. By midnight, she started calling. No response. By 2 a.m., she began to panic. When police arrived the next morning, Emily's phone was found on her desk. Her purse, keys, and wallet were all still in her room. There was no sign of forced entry. Nothing seemed stolen. It was as if Emily had vanished between the diner and her front door. Detectives began to trace her last known movements. Security cameras from the diner showed her walking out alone, wearing a denim jacket and carrying a small tote bag. The footage from a nearby gas station caught her walking along Maplewood Road, just 2 blocks from her apartment, at 10:26 p.m. And then nothing. The next camera, only 200 yards ahead, had mysteriously stopped recording that night. A technical glitch, they said. It was the one camera that could have shown exactly what happened in those final moments. Emily's disappearance sent shockwaves through the community. Posters with her face covered light poles, grocery stores, and coffee shops. Volunteers searched in nearby woods, creeks, and abandoned buildings. Drones scanned the area. Dogs were brought in. But there wasn't a single clue. No footprints. When the first 48 hours passed without any sign of body, the town turned into a mix of fear and speculation. Statistically, some those first 2 days are everything. Others whispered that maybe the chances of finding a missing person those who knew Emily started to fall. Her friends, her parents, Detective Ryan insisted she would never just lead the case. Her mother, a seasoned officer with 20 years on the later said in an interview, he described Emily was the kind of girl who texted one of the strangest cases he'd even if it was just a good morning. We had no struggle, no witness. She did no digital footprint. I knew something was wrong. It's like she stepped off the earth. The case quickly drew attention. Police began reconstructing every minute of Emily's gathered outside her home. They found her receipt questioned daily about new leads. Paid at 10:12 Days turned into weeks. They reviewed the footage that showed there was nothing. No suspects. Waving goodbye to her friends. Just a haunting image of a girl who vanished. The gas station camera captured her again. People began to recall strange things from that night. Earbuds. A store owner reported phone in her dark SUV, and then idling near Maplewood Road around the same missing time. Camera Emily on Maplewood Road became another witness claimed they heard a brief scream. It was the only one positioned to catch when they looked outside. That short street was 90-second stretch of road between the gas station. Nothing concrete tied those reports to Emily. When detectives asked the city why the footage wasn't available, swallowed her whole. They were told the system best friend malfunctioned. Couldn't shake the feeling that someone had been watching them. Every other camera. She later told investigators that for weeks before Emily's disappearance, Hale pushed harder. They noticed a man he wanted maintenance gray pickup truck near their building. Anything that could prove the malfunction never moved legitimate. Just that's when things got even stranger. Sometimes, late at night, the city claimed no maintenance the truck had been parked across the street months with its headlights and no one could explain why when police tried to track down that truck. Theories started pouring. It was gone. Some thought the camera had been tampered with. No license plate caught on camera. Others whispered about someone no one in the area remembered it clearly, covering something as the story spread. But no solid online forums exploded with theories. Meanwhile, some users claimed phone records showed Emily's last phone activity at 10:18 p.m. Others thought she'd been a victim of human trafficking. Leaving now, even suggested something supernatural. After that, total silence. But the facts didn't fit. No calls, any no clear text, narrative, no social media activity. What made this case even more chilling was how never pinged ordinary it seemed. It just Emily went dark. Didn't go hiking in the woods. Detectives canvassed a neighborhood. She'd meet a stranger interviewing online. Anyone who she lived was simply walking home on a familiar road. Most said they saw hundreds of times before. But one elderly woman Mrs. felt safe on. Reported hearing that car door slam in a woman's voice around 10:30 p.m. It was her disappearance wasn't just a mystery. Like someone gasped, it became a shadow that hung over the entire town. Another resident claimed stopped letting their black SUV speeding away from the diner where she was last seen closed within Police checked every known avoided black SUV in the region, especially came up empty, and no registration on the no connection to Emily's. Her 3 days after her disappearance, by the window, a new clue in case surfaced. She finds a way jogger back home. Found a single white sneaker by the edge of the wooded path, about half a mile from Maplewood Emily Road. Carter didn't just walk away. It matched the kind Emily something was happened that night. Detectives swarmed the area, something searching waiting every inch for more evidence. That was the beginning. But the shoe was all they found. No tracks, no fibers, no blood. Forensic tests later confirmed it was hers, but beyond that, it told them nothing. It looked as though someone had placed it there intentionally. Too clean, too deliberate, sitting on top of the dirt as if waiting to be found. Detective Hale started digging deeper into Emily's life. He interviewed friends, professors, ex-boyfriends, even classmates. She had no enemies, no history of depression, no signs of wanting to run away. Her friends describe her as happy, grounded, and focused on school. Then came a strange lead from social media. 2 days before her disappearance, Emily had received several anonymous messages on Instagram. The sender's username was Watcher_17. The messages were short, unsettling, and cryptic. You look better when you're alone. I saw you walking home last night. You shouldn't go out after dark. Investigators traced the account, but it had been created with a fake email and a VPN. No traceable location. No identity. It was like the sender didn't exist. This changed everything. Detectives believe whoever sent those messages had been following Emily, watching her. The gray pickup truck her roommate mentioned suddenly made sense. Someone had been stalking her for weeks. The police released a statement to the public, urging anyone with information about the truck or the Instagram account to come forward. But once again, nothing solid came through. Then, a chilling discovery. 2 weeks after Emily's disappearance, a local man came forward claiming his home security camera, located near an old bridge about a mile from Maplewood Road, had captured something unusual. When detectives reviewed the footage, their blood ran cold. At 10:33 p.m. on the night Emily vanished, a dark SUV was seen driving across the bridge, slowly, almost cautiously. It stopped for a moment, then drove off. What caught everyone's attention was the faint image of what looked like a person sitting in the passenger seat, their head tilted toward the window. The footage was blurry and grainy, but it was the first real lead they had. Forensic video experts analyzed it for days, but they couldn't confirm whether it was Emily or someone else. Still, the timeline matched perfectly. Detective Hale believed Emily had been abducted within those 2 blocks after leaving the gas station. He suspected the abductor was familiar with the area, knew about the broken camera, and had planned it carefully, but without a license plate, a witness, or any physical evidence. The case remained at a standstill. Reporters began calling it the vanishing on Maplewood Road. News stations aired nightly updates. People flooded social media with theories, some rational, others disturbingly imaginative. A few weeks later, a new twist emerged. A woman from a nearby town reported being followed by a man in a black SUV. She said he trailed her for nearly 10 minutes before turning off. Police found tire tracks matching that description, but again, no suspect. The pressure on the department grew. Emily's family appeared on national TV, pleading for answers. Her mother's tearful words echoed through every home watching. Please, if you know something, anything, tell us where my daughter is. But the phone stayed silent. The investigation slowly lost momentum. Detectives were reassigned, tips went cold, and the case file grew dusty. Still, some officers refused to let it go. Detective Hale, even years later, admitted the case haunted him. He'd often drive down Maplewood Road at night, park on a flickering streetlight, and stare into the dark, wondering where she went. Something had happened in those 90 seconds of missing footage. Something terrible. And whoever did it was still out there. Weeks turned into months, and the search for Emily Carter slowly shifted from desperate hope to painful endurance. The missing posters began to fade in the rain. The search teams grew smaller, and the story that once gripped an entire community started to vanish in the headlines, just like Emily had. But for her family, time didn't dull the pain. Her mother, Linda, refused to move out of their home, believing Emily might somehow find her way back. Every night she left the porch light on, a silent signal to her daughter, "You're not forgotten." Her father, Tom Carter, withdrew into silence. Once a proud man who worked at the local fire department, he stopped going to work altogether. He'd spend hours sitting by the window, staring out toward Maplewood Road, replaying every possible version of that night in his mind. "If only I had picked her up," he told a reporter. "If only she called me." As weeks passed, the investigation lost direction. There were no new leads, no suspects, no trace. But then, exactly 6 months after her disappearance, something strange happened. A local hiker discovered an old cell phone deep in the forest near the outskirts of town, barely intact, covered in dirt. The serial number confirmed it was Emily's phone. Forensic technicians managed to retrieve fragments of data from it. Most of the files were corrupted, but one thing stood out: a photo. It was blurry and dark. Taken around 10:27 p.m. the night she disappeared, just a minute after she was last seen on camera. The image showed a faint silhouette of what appeared to be a vehicle's headlights shining toward her. She must have snapped at moments before she vanished. Detective Ryan Hale, still unofficially working the case on his own time, described it as the most chilling evidence he'd ever seen. She saw something, maybe someone she recognized, and that photo, it might have been her last act of fear or instinct. The discovery reignited public interest. Online communities that had long moved on came alive again, dissecting every pixel of that photo. Some claimed to see a shadowy figure behind the headlights. Others thought the image was staged. But for Emily's family, it was both hope and heartbreak, a reminder that she was close to being found that night, yet still lost forever. Then came the theories. The first and most common was the stalker theory. Many believed the man in the gray pickup truck had been following Emily for weeks. The Instagram messages from Watcher_17 matched the tone of someone obsessed, someone who'd been watching her movements, waiting for the right moment. But police never identified the sender, and no truck matching that description was ever found. Another theory focused on the camera glitch. Some online sleuths believed the broken street camera wasn't an accident. They suspected someone within local law enforcement, or even city maintenance, was involved, covering up a planned abduction. The timing was too precise, too clean, but there was never any proof. Only speculation and silence from the authorities. Then there was the local theory. Some residents pointed fingers at people who lived along Maplewood Road. Loners, mechanics, or reclusive individuals with strange habits. One man, a former construction worker, was questioned after neighbors reported hearing screams from his property late at night, but investigators found nothing. Finally, there was the trafficking theory. A retired FBI profiler suggested Emily's disappearance matched the pattern of organized abductions for human trafficking rings operating along the West Coast. Victims were usually taken quickly, quietly, and within a short distance from home. But again, no evidence directly linked Emily's case to any such operation. Despite all these possibilities, none brought answers, only more questions. By the first anniversary of her disappearance, the case had officially gone cold. The police stopped active searches, media attention faded, and life in the small town of Maplewood slowly tried to return to normal. But normal was never the same again. For Emily's mother, every date on the calendar was a reminder. Her birthday, the day she left for college, the day she vanished. Each one carved deeper into her heart. "It's like time stopped," she said in a local interview. The world kept moving, but we didn't. Detective Hale retired 2 years later, but he never stopped investigating privately. He kept a box labeled Carter in his study, filled with notes, timelines, and every scrap of evidence. Sometimes he'd drive to the forest where the phone was found, stand there in the silence, and whisper, "We'll find you, kid." But no one ever did. 5 years later, something eerie happened again. Late one night, Linda Carter received a text from an unknown number. It said, "Mom, it's me." The phone company traced it to a prepaid burner phone purchased 2 towns over. Security footage from the store showed a woman wearing a hoodie and sunglasses. The footage was grainy and her face was obscured, but her build and posture looked hauntingly familiar. When detectives arrived, the woman was gone. The phone was found later in a dumpster behind a gas station. No fingerprints. No trace. Just the silence again. The text reopened the wound. Was it Emily? Or someone cruel enough to play with her family's pain? Over the next few months, several anonymous tips came in claiming sightings of a woman resembling Emily in different states: California, Nevada, Washington. Each one led to nothing, but the pattern left everyone unsettled. The case remains unsolved to this day. Every October, the local news revisits the story. Candlelight vigils are held on Maplewood Road. People gather with photos, prayers, and questions that still have no answers. Her mother still lights that porch candle, whispering, "Come home, baby." Detective Hale, now gray-haired and retired, was once asked by a journalist what he truly believed happened that night. He paused, staring into the distance before replying, "I think Emily knew her abductor. I think she saw someone she trusted, someone who made her stop walking. And in that one moment, everything changed." Even now, people driving along Maplewood Road say they sometimes see a girl walking under dim streetlights, wearing a denim jacket, her head slightly turned as if listening to something. When they look again, she's gone. Whether it's just imagination or something more, one thing is certain. Emily Carter's story has never left this town. Her face still haunts the walls of the old diner. Her name still echoes in every unanswered question, and her mystery still lingers like the cold wind that sweeps across Maplewood Road each night. Because some stories don't end. They just fade, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover the truth. And until that day comes, one question will remain. Where's Emily Carter?